Hey everybody, it's Eric with What's in the Box, and we are continuing the Texas Horror Lit Fest author interviews. And today we are joined by Kristal Shanahan. And how are you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good. Excited to get to the event. It's less than 3 weeks away, so it'll be fun to see everybody in person and get a chance to check out everybody's books and walk around and do all that stuff. So
Yeah, it was a lot of fun last year, so I'm looking forward to it.
yeah, I really enjoy the vibe of it. And I'm glad we're in the same location. It was kind of a good setup, and I think they've tightened up all the problems that there were from last year. So it should be a much smoother, on the backside, which most of the readers didn't see, but some of the authors had,
Yeah,
just a few hiccups. So I think all that'll be fixed, and then it'll be a fun event for everyone. And there's a lot of fun panels and some other cool stuff, and all that
yeah,
information should be out there soon. So, um,
yeah.
first question. The one that everybody's going to judge you on: Freddie, Jason, Michael.
Oh, that's a hard one. I love Freddie and I love Michael. I've never been a huge Jason fan.
All right, okay. So the interview is over, I guess. So then we will go and
I've seen
okay.
them. I like the first one, but after that, it's kind of like,
All right.
the Nightmare on Elm Street series I love. And I love, as far as Halloween goes, I love the first one and I love the Rob Zombie version. So
Okay. That's
those two are
interesting. You don't hear that very often.
I think they're both good in their own right.
Right. I mean, I always argue that if it wasn't Halloween, if Rob Zombie had come out with his own, his own character, and then the movie was exactly how it was,
Mhm.
everybody would hail it as a masterpiece.
Yeah.
But the fact that it's Michael Myers and he changed some things, everybody's
Yeah,
upset about it. So
I know. I liked it though. I mean, I'll always love the first one better than all the rest of them though.
yeah, I for some reason I enjoy two more than one, and if you put a
Oh.
gun to my head, I'd pick three. So, which has nothing at all to do with it. So there you go. There's my there's my pushback on the no Jason thing. So, who is my baby? I love Jason. So, um,
Oh, sorry.
but that's okay. No, that's fine. It's good that we all have different, and that's the cool thing about these three iconic franchises is that
Yeah.
everybody has, you know, fondness for each series in a different way and stuff. And
Hmm.
so, if I was to say, what's your favorite nightmare film? Which one are you going to go with?
Oh, I love the first one and I love Dream Warriors.
Yeah, right. Isn't that the? I grew up on those. Those are the two of the ones I love too. Now,
Yeah.
four's fine. Five is iffy.
Yeah.
Six is a disaster.
I don't even
And
think I saw that one.
yeah, right. And so the reason I always pick Friday the 13th is because I feel beginning to end, even with the wonky ones, it's a
Hmm.
more complete and more entertaining journey. But with Nightmare, it's one and three, and
Uh-huh.
maybe a new Nightmare. You could pick that one. That one's a fun remake. But
Yeah,
I
true.
haven't even seen that. I refuse to watch the remake of it, and so I have no clue with that one. And then of course Jason versus Freddy. That's a fun one. Um, and I think Freddy cheats a little bit because he has personality because he talks, right? And so because he has funny lines and we quote him and stuff like that, he gets a leg up on the other two because they're just kind of going out silently killing everybody. So,
Yes. I'll turn my phone off.
but yeah, I mean, you can't go wrong with any of them, really, right? So,
Right.
so then the next question is, do you have a favorite cryptid or creature? And that could be in a book or in actual lore or in a movie or anything like that.
Oh gosh. I don't know. I've never really thought about it. Um, oh, that's one I would have to really think on.
I've had a lot of people, which I was a little surprised by, but I guess I shouldn't have been. Werewolf's been a big player. Um,
Oh,
because I like werewolves, but I'm not. That's never one that's not like my go-to. But
yeah, I like
vampires have got a
it.
little love. Bigfoot gets love. Of
Yeah.
course, I always pick the goat man because that's my guy. but I love cryptids, so I can always dive into anything. I just love a good creature feature kind of thing.
I do too. I don't have like a standout. I mean, I do love vampires, and there's vampires in the one I'm working on right now.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So let's dive on that then.
Okay.
You like vampires, but what kind of vampire?
Well, the one that's in my book is he's very loosely based on Lestat. So he's just kind of a romantic,
Okay.
but he's willing to take care of business and kill people if he needs to.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I get that.
Yeah, but
Because I don't mind Dracula. I don't mind the romantic version of a vampire, True Blood. I like the books and stuff like that. But when it comes down to it, I think the ones that I find scariest are the ones like in 30 Days of Night, where they really don't have there's no charm to them.
oh yeah.
Nobody's in love with these characters. They're just monsters, and they're just kind of
Yeah.
like almost like locusts. And instead of feeding on the crops, or feeding on people. Um,
Yeah.
but so sometimes I get a little bored when we do like Twilight vampires and stuff.
Oh yeah.
But
No.
but no, if you like to get it bloody, that's a fun idea. So I'm always looking
Yes.
for a good vampire werewolf kind of tale. I like the supernatural paranormal books where they kind of interweave all those, and you get
Yeah.
a new take on it, and you kind of get to see somebody else's idea of how they would interact, and then layer it on top of each other. Um,
Yeah. Yeah, I love the supernatural. So the main character is a female main character and she's a serial killer. But and she kind of falls for um his name's Rick. So he's the vampire.
Very
Um
cool.
it is, and it's a bit gory. And there's not a lot of romance in it. So
Yeah, no, it
but
doesn't. It didn't
yeah.
seem that way. When you said
No.
he takes care of business, especially if you got a serial killer going on too. So that's a
Yeah.
fun 1-2 thing. Um,
Yeah.
I'd be interested to see how you layered those guys together.
Yeah.
Do you have a title, or are you still working on it?
No, I've got a title and I've got a book cover. So the book cover release will be planning on like July 1st.
Okay.
Evil Screams is the title.
Oh, that's a good title.
Thanks.
I'm always struggling with titles. That's one of the things that I find. It's funny. You'll write a couple, thousands of words, and it'll take forever to come up with like, a line for a blurb, or even a title. Sometimes the titles I have no clue. It'll be like weeks after I'm done, and I still don't have an idea what I want to call it.
Oh, titles are kind of easy for me. It's the blurb that I struggle with and I
Yes,
can't stand doing that.
blurbs are the worst. There's nothing worse than trying to do, 80,000 words, and you need to get it down to, 4 lines to
Yeah.
explain everything, all the complexities of your story in 4 lines or two
Yeah.
lines or
Uh,
whatever.
I know it's so hard. I'm not good at that, but
Yeah.
I'm pretty wordy, so
Right. And so, yeah, and then you're like, well, sometimes I'll run it through a couple of, there's a couple in the community that are really good at it. So I will take my, short novel of a blurb and throw it at somebody and see if they can't kill half of it. And it just comes back all red marked out, you don't need any of this or that. And then,
oh yeah, I definitely get feedback too.
yeah, so that's always nice though. It's always nice when you can find somebody that knows how to squeeze it down.
Oh
So,
yes.
and then the last question I have is there a book or an author or maybe a series that is the inspiration for you to want to be a writer, or more importantly, maybe to write in the genre of horror?
Um, I've always loved Shirley Jackson, Edgar Allan Poe. Those are my two favorite. I love King, of course, early King. But Shirley Jackson, I just thought was fire. I love The Haunting of Hill House. It's one of my
Okay.
favorite books. I've gotten to teach it a handful of times. So it's just, I don't know, it's got my heart.
And when you say teach it, you have to forgive me. I'm thinking high school, right? Am I wrong?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
cool. So you
Oh,
got
yeah,
to incorporate it into a high school class. That would be awesome if I was
yeah.
because rarely did my English teachers have us read anything worth a darn.
Yeah,
Um,
we've gotten to work with some good literature. So it's English. Well, it's 11th grade, so it's American Lit. So the last couple years I've taught primarily British literature. But I retired this year from teaching my own.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Pretty exciting.
Right. Yeah, it's very exciting. So, um, so you said Edgar Allan Poe. What's your favorite Poe story?
Oh, A Telltale Heart.
That's funny. Yeah. No, that's my favorite. That's the first one. I remember reading it as a, I don't know, I must have been 7 or 8 and just loved that story so much. It was the one I went back to every time. I was given an opportunity to do anything in English class where I could share a story or do anything. I would gravitate towards that story. Um,
Yeah, it's a good one.
yeah. And also it's one of the weird ones or one of the, and I don't, maybe it's not, maybe it's just one that clicked with me, but I find it to be, for lack of a better term, simplistic in the manner of when you're reading it, because some of his stuff's a little more old school, it's in that language of the time, and so it's a little meatier, and depending on your concentration level, uh,
Hmm.
you might have some of those struggles with some of the stories. But I always find that no matter what you're doing, Telltale Heart, it hits perfectly. Um,
Yeah.
and I don't know if it's just because it's such a universal idea or if he just, had a moment of clarity when writing it. I don't know. So,
Yeah,
but
it's
I
a
do
fun.
enjoy all of his stuff. So I
I
think
do.
all of it's really good. And I'm always excited to dive back into Poe. I'll give it a year or two and then go back in and try and read some of his stuff and find more interesting things that, with everything, as we get older, everything has its shift and we see it all new eyes and all that good stuff. So I find Poe to be one of those people that you can reread over and over again and find new things and interesting things. So
Yeah, he's got a huge body of work, so it's always fun to revisit things from when you were a kid versus when you're a lot older. And so
mhm.
that's I've been able to use Poe in my classrooms a lot. So it's fun to break them down and dive into a lot of what he's written. So
Yeah, for sure. See, and again, man, I wish I should have been in your class because it sounds like your class would have been amazing. So, but um, and then you said one other thing that really intrigues me. You said you were a fan of King, but his early stuff. So I want to know when that ends. When does that stop?
I just haven't read a lot of his newer stuff. My first King book was Firestarter when I
Okay.
was like probably 13 or 14. I love, Carrie and Salem's Lot and The Shining, Pet Cemetery and Misery and like all of those older books that we all, as authors just gravitate to and love. And I've gotten some of his newer things. I just haven't read them yet,
Hmm.
and I haven't read like his fantasy stuff that he's written either. So,
I've always been interested in the Colorado Kid.
yeah.
Um, it's there's a TV show called Haven that was on Sci-Fi Network, and it's based off of the Colorado Kid loosely, which I think they just used the title of the
Yeah.
book. So it really doesn't have anything to do with King, but it's a supernatural show, and it's got a whole bunch of weird things going on and mystery and stuff. But I know a lot of fans of King think his crime fiction are fun reads.
Yeah.
Um, but I have a rule to not read King after Needful Things. So I have not read anything after Needful Things, and in fact, never finished Needful Things.
Really?
Yeah, it pissed me off so much that I
Oh,
put it down with about 150 pages left and vowed never to read Stephen King again.
oh my gosh.
But I will read any of the books before Needful Things as I had already read them and I
Yeah.
enjoyed them. So all the ones you listed, I'm a fan of, except for Salem's Lot. I haven't actually finished that one. I'm not a big, like I said, um, I've started it, but kind of gotten distracted from it. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, there's something, and I told Heather uh, Lawson that I would give it
Mhm.
another shot because it's one of her favorite books.
Yeah, I
But
really liked it too.
there is a point where, and I read it when I must have been 18, maybe 19. I think 18 though, when it came out. And
Mm.
so I remember getting it at the bookstore. I remember reading it and thinking this is the greatest thing I've ever read through most of it. And then getting to one point where I thought this is the dumbest thing I've ever seen. And I just put it down, never finished it. And so
Oh,
now so many years later, I can't even pinpoint exactly what the problem was. I'm like, I need to reread it just so I can see if I had the exact same reaction, or if I'm just like, oh, I must have just been, 18. So,
Yeah, I want to know what your reaction will be.
oh boy, and I remember it was almost, I didn't quite chunk it across the room, but I do remember slamming it shut and dropping it on the side table and then walking away from it and then never doing it again and refusing to read anything else he put out. So
That is wild to me. Do you have a copy?
yeah, I still have the copy I closed because I'm weird like that and I hold on to all my books. I can pull out books that I had when I was like 6. I still
Oh,
have everything. So
same.
yeah, I love books. So and
Yeah.
it's cool. And I always wondered, or I just assumed my son would be the same way. And so I was like, well, I don't get rid of anything because when I was a boy, my father threw everything away. And
Oh.
so, and then I would be like, oh, I'm into the X, or like, I remember one time I was really big into Conan, and he was like, oh yeah, I had all the Conans, all the comics from Marvel. He goes, but
Oh.
at one point we just needed to get rid of them, so I just threw them all away. And so they were all worth money too. And so I'm just like, but just think of,
Oh,
as a kid, I would have been fascinated just being able to read them. So,
yeah.
but so when it comes to things like books, I hold on to them
Yeah,
just
I
in
do.
case he wanted to ever read them. And then a couple times he's actually been like, oh, I'm looking for a book. And I'll be like, oh, I actually have this book. And I go and I find it and dig it out, uh, and we, talk about it or whatever. And he gets to go read it and do what he wants to do with it. So
Oh, that's cool.
yeah, it's always fun to do that. But yeah, I've always been a big book nerd because my mom got me started early on. So, uh,
Yeah, my dad was that for me.
right. There's always
Yeah.
somebody that's kind of your gateway, drug into they're the ones always providing. They're pushing on the amazing thing of books, which, I think every household needs somebody to do that
Oh, agreed.
because there's so many wonderful stories that nobody even knows about because,
Oh, yeah.
so many books go out of print and they never come back. So
Yeah.
that's the other reason why I hold on to everything. I have some books that I'm like, these probably will never ever be printed again. Children's books and things of that nature that I, share with your
Oh,
grandkids and all that stuff. So,
yeah, that's true.
and then what's funny, I don't know if do you know who the Mister Men are?
No.
So it's these little character books that they're like little chapter books that were really big when I was a kid, like in the 80s overseas. I think they're big in England.
Oh.
And so I have them. And then for some reason in the early 2000s, like 2005, 2006, they made a comic or a cartoon series of them and put
Hmm.
them on one of the big networks like Nickelodeon or something. So my son was at the appropriate age, he's loving the cartoon. And then I go and I pull out all of these amazing books that are like 30 years old or whatever, because I still had them. So that's one of those cool moments as a nerd reader. So
That is very cool.
yeah, it's fun. I pull him out all the time and say, oh, all those kinds of books. But now he's old. He's in his 20s now, so now he's not quite as interested in that stuff. But like I said, now I've got all the adult books. So if he wants to check out any of those old King books or any of that stuff, I still have them. So.
Yeah.
But I am excited to get us to the end of June, June 27th, June 28th. That's the days for the event, Texas Horror Lit Fest. And
Yes.
we are going to be at the Irving Convention Center again. It's a free event, but there are ticket opportunities. If you go to the website and I think it's Eventbrite, but the link will be below. Just click on it and sign up for a ticket. Let us know you're coming, but also you'll get an opportunity to join some of the raffles they're doing, and you can win a pretty cool prize. So hopefully we'll see everybody out there. It's 10 to 6 both days, and it's going to be filled with a bunch of amazing horror, fantasy, um, science fiction, and a couple other subgenres that are mixed in, because that's what I love about horror authors. So many of them write other things and they're all bringing different things. So I know there'll be different levels of amazing subgenres covered and stuff. So
Yeah.
hopefully everybody can come out and see us, and then they can talk to you about why you need to watch more Friday the 13th films, and then you guys can
Maybe.
discuss Rob Zombie movies.
Yeah, that's the only one I've seen.
There you go. So um oh, you know what? I'm sorry. I jumped right ahead. Do you have any of your books with you?
Oh, I do.
You want to show off some of the books you're going to have at the table?
Yeah, I can. I've got a couple short stories and then I've got the other books as well. So
Okay.
these. This is probably my most popular. It's the first one I wrote. So Fiery Mabel, it's a nursing home horror story,
Hmm.
kind of revenge, redemption-ish. This is a cryptid story. So it's based in Ireland, Tormented Sorrows. It's about 40 pages, so it's a little bit longer than Fiery Mabel, which is like 20, 21. A Mortician Shadow is supernatural. It's based on an urban legend in Kansas. It's a lot of fun. And then I do write kind of like campy horror. It's not anything, too serious. And this is my collection. So it's got 2 stories in each season.
Hmm.
And then Fiery Mabel is one of the most popular ones. And then also I have one that's called Halloween Mayhem. So it's a sleepy, I can't even think of, oh my gosh.
Follow.
Yes, this is what happens when you get old. You forget
Oh,
words.
trust me. I've got 1,000 things written down here. I've gotten the date wrong almost every time we've done an interview on the event. I'm lucky I get the name right because they changed it again. So yeah, I'm with you. So
But
yeah,
yeah,
all right, very cool. Yeah, I have the Four Seasons. It's
yeah.
a great thing for people to grab, and
Thank
I'll
you.
be looking at that cryptid one too because I love to expand my cryptid knowledge,
It's
and I love stories like that. So.
yeah,
All right, everybody, come out to Texas Horror Lit Fest and swing by all the tables, say hi, check everybody out, and we'll see you in a couple weeks.
yeah, it'll be a lot of fun.
Take it easy.
Thanks.